Nice to see you, Richard. How are you, man?
So I am sensational, Scott. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good today. I'm good. Actually, I'm a bit stressed. I got a couple of emails telling me I'd forgotten to be at a live webinar this morning, and I freaked out and thought, "Oh no, I've got the date wrong." And then just after I sent an email to everyone apologising for it, I realised that they were wrong and I was right, and it was actually tomorrow. So,
Ah,
so I'm an idiot today. Um, a serial idiot, actually.
so it's a situation normal, yeah?
Situation normal. So, so today I wanted to talk to you a bit about you're one of the successful guys who's been through our whole process. So, um, I think it's a smart thing to do to look at the people who've made things work and see what's the difference between winners and losers. Like why did you make it go and other people haven't? And from my point of view, there's two things. Thing one is that you already have very good execution skill. You've for those who don't know Richard, you're an options market maker, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. I did trade options, equity derivatives, all sorts of things for about 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not your first day, and the second thing that you did, which almost no one does, and it's the biggest predictor of success, is you didn't think this was going to be easy. You just rolled up your sleeves and got to work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so why don't you tell me how you started and what you did, and you don't need to
Yeah,
divulge the system you built, but
yeah, no problem. That's fine. So, look, I think, as you said, Scott, maybe different to many of your clients or students who are like, I've got a bit of market experience anyway. So, be that as it may, I've actually forgotten how I stumbled across you on the net, but you got me intrigued. Learned a few things. I looked at your setups, toolkit and the like as well, and sort of got a bit interested. So, started doing a few things and playing around a bit. But one thing that I did when I looked at all your work, watched all your vids, for example, they were quite good. In fact, very good. But some of the things you said I agree with, and others I didn't, and I still don't.
that's excellent.
So,
One of the things that Van talks about is that we need to trade a system that's congruent with our market beliefs. And if you don't have that market belief, it doesn't matter if the system's an edge or not. It's just going to be impossible to trade it. And a lot of stuff you just have an instinctual aversion to. There's no problem with that. There's no harm in that.
yeah. And just to tease out a bit further, Scott, I was going to come to it later, but it's got to be something that you understand, you live, you breathe, and you believe is the real point. Because at some stage you're going to have drawdowns, and you've got to get the situation where you trust your numbers, to keep going, just not to pull out. And so that keeps you in the market, but at even more a potentially personal point of view, you've got to be able to explain to yourself where you're going wrong, but also potentially a partner. Hammers down 5R, 6R, 7R, don't worry, babe, it's all going to come back. You can't have that conversation unless you know your model.
You can't have a conversation that's like, yeah, baby, we lose the house if it doesn't come back, but don't worry, we might be good. Like, that's not going to be a good
Exactly.
conversation.
But that definitely doesn't cut the mustard there.
Yeah.
And so look, it's turn and circle back. It's definitely not easy, Scott. And so for those of your clients that are potentially out there who are looking at this, look, Scott's put on all his promos. He's not promising to make you money, and he's also not promising to turn into a good trader. But what he is promised to work with you. And so this is not for novices. But get involved, roll your sleeves up, and be prepared to do the hard work. That includes things like doing scatter plots, doing your maximum excursion,
Okay, so
all that kind of stuff.
so let's talk about the process that you did. You started off with one of my setups that you really quite liked, and you did some scatter plots on it to prove once and for all was it an edge, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, I sort of did one two parallel things. Like I said, a lot of your work didn't resonate with me. Your setup's toolkit, I find, to be honest, it's got a bit complex in
It
some
is a
ways.
bit too complex.
A bit of a dum-dum. So I sort of cherry-picked some ideas that there that resonated with me, and took a bit of a look at Thor,
And,
and sort of squeeze the two of them together a bit. And that took me about 6 weeks, I think, from memory. So
and
six weeks.
And so that creative process, so your system is essentially a substantial improvement on my Thor system. Um, how was the creative process of you coming up with that improvement on the setup? Did you just stare at charts until it came to you, or
No, look, I've had a couple of, from my markets background, I've had a couple of ideas anyway, but one thing that I've learned from you and Lawrence as well was that little saying, something along the lines of complexity equals fragility,
Absolutely.
and can't emphasise that enough. Look, the model that you and I last worked on, I think has got a four-step decision-making process, four stages only, and that's it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's actually why I consider yours to be an improvement of mine, because instead of adding more rules to my system, you started by subtracting rules.
Yeah.
And by subtracting rules, you've increased the edge, you made the exit algorithm more simpler, you've made it more robust, so what you said about fragility is key, because the more rules you have in a system, the more inherently fragile it becomes. And so
Exactly right.
the better it's going to work while it's in the right market type, and the worse it's going to fail when you're out of the right market type. So what you've done is taken something that is unlikely to be arbitraged away, something that people say, one of the most common questions I get is how many trades do I need to backtest for? And if your system has 4 rules, maybe you only need 300 or 400 trades in backtest. But if each extra rule you add is an extra order of magnitude of complexity. So by the time you're up to 7 rules, you need tens of thousands of trades to have a statistically significant backtest.
Exactly, yeah. So and statistically significant is the real key there, because anyone can phone up their cryptocurrency broker and deposit their $50 and lose it off their credit card and lose it in a minute. That's not business. And I think I know you've got a business, Scott. That's really what I'm working towards as well. Business, you've got to put in the work, and you treat it like a job. For whoever's watching out there, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Okay, guys, listening to this is important. So we've got a guy who's planning on not trying to make some money this year, or not trying to get rich quick, or get rich or die trying. We've got a guy. Every one of our winning traders sounds exactly like this guy. He's like, I'm going to be here for 15 or 20 years. This is how I'm going to fund my retirement. This is how I'm going to be in the long term. And if you listen to the language that he uses, he's not all about I want to make 100% a year. He's all about I don't want my system to break and fail.
That's exactly right. I want consistency. That's really what it comes down to. I'm very prepared to try off lower return for the consistency.
Boy, me too.
Yeah. And so it's a bit about my journey as well. Part of my journey was looking at your work and all that kind of stuff, and my own thought process as well. But also overlaying that with, well, where do I want to be? Because I've spent 25 years sitting in front of a Bloomberg screen. I've been there, done that. And I've got better things to do with my day than all day long do that all again. So the models that I did develop, and I'm still iterating through my next incarnation. The idea is I've actually got two versions. One, every morning, similar to you, run for a routine every morning, put my orders in, walk away, forget about it. Very important, yeah?
It's a wonderful feeling when you walk away, right?
Oh, yeah. Turn it off. Screen watching, you're guaranteed to do something dumb. Without a shadow of a doubt.
I think it was Warren Buffett who said that having real-time prices on your desk is like having a poker machine on your desk. Eventually you're gonna want to play.
Exactly, yeah. So that's pretty important to be able to craft my algo along what I want to do with the day. My day's not sitting in front of the screen all day long. There's going to be beach, it's a beautiful day. That's what am I doing here? Well, I'm working for my mate Scott. That's okay, but I don't want to be sitting in front of the screen all day. And so that was pretty important. And that comes back to developing your what? It's got to be something that you believe in, works around your lifestyle as well.
So you believe in it. You have this absolute core faith. That's not just a religious faith. It's because you took the time and rolled up your sleeves and did the work and scatterplot tested it, right?
Yeah, and Scott, it was about 6 weeks, so I was doing 3 or 4 hours a day, and every second day coming back to you, and you talked about it. Don't underestimate, guys. It's hard work.
It's not a small amount of work at all, and that's the common thing. I look at all the guys who are making their living from the markets now, and they all have this common thing of they did a back test that was surprising to me as to how much they did. They did the kind of things that I used to do and Daniel used to do that were just ridiculous.
Because it was a bit ridiculous, but you get to know your model. because you can get something off the shelf like Broker or something like that, plug in all sorts of numbers, they'll give you great graphs, but you don't know the cuts of
Most of our systems are 50% or around that winning or losing trades. If you take 300 trades in a year, eventually you're going to have a string of over 10 losers. It's going to happen.
Correct, yeah.
It's going to happen once a year. And if you get 10 losing trades in a row and you don't really understand that model, like, you're going to turn it off at the worst possible time. You're going to get to 9 or 10 losing trades, and then you're going to go, I can't handle it anymore, I'm taking a break, and then it's going to make 5 winners in a row. It's going to make you feel like a loser, trade abuser, and you're going to start trading like an idiot. You're going to bend your model. You're going to want a new system. It's just going to mess with your head.
Exactly right. Yeah. So you've got to be able to stick with your own model as well. You raised an interesting point about knowing your numbers and all that kind of stuff. You use the term expectancy. Like, my current version is expectancy about 0.45 or so, which is okay.
It's better than okay, man.
But the point of it is, what that means is if you're going to win on less than half your trades, the key is the exit algo. The exit algo is the key, and that's what I spend a lot of time on.
Damn straight. And simple is better, right?
Yeah, and simple is better, yeah. And be skeptical. Like I said, you taught me, Scott, go for 2R, go for 2R, go for 2R. Well, I do that plus more now, because I just don't take a different approach. But that's what works with me.
Perfect. So currently you're still taking partial profits at 2, or are you going for the steal?
No, actually, I let my profits run as much as I can.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, it's a trend following system, so that makes sense.
Sorry?
It's a trend following system, so as long as you don't have too many simultaneous trades, that's going to be optimal, right?
Exactly, but that's the other thing as well. Not too many simultaneous trades. Like, you mentioned about, being all of a sudden down 9 or 10R. You've got to be prepared for that. And sort of like, think, how many do you want? 4 or 5? Personally, I think probably about 6 is the absolute maximum of any one person wants at any point in time.
So this is
how good is
this question is it's not actually a question of opinion. It's a question of mathematics. And Sakota did a lot of work on this. And what he found is that when you model it, your risk of catastrophic drawdown goes exponential above 5% simultaneous trades. So 1% trades is an absolute maximum.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's a bit of a learning to be patient as well, because there'll be times when the market tells you get involved, and there'll be other times when the market says now's the time to stand out. And that's your model. Your model's doing its job. A lot of people think, especially when I was trading professionally for a living, like, I'm employed as a trader, I've got to trade. You
can't rock up and tell your boss, hey, I don't see any appealing opportunities today, but I'm gonna play with Facebook all day, and we'll check it again in a couple of days. How about that, boss?
Yeah. Well, you sort of can, but not for too long. But the point of it is, sometimes the best trade is no trade. You've got to learn to recognise that one as well.
And it's one of the few advantages that the home trader has, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You'd be crazy not to use it.
Pressure really comes from you.
You'd be crazy not to use it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the key, I think, is just, be prepared to do the hard work and don't underestimate the work. Find something that resonates with you, because it's got to be your model.
And you have one thing. You have one entry set up, right?
Yes.
One. So this is very important from a robustness point of view, because like you said, the setups toolkit measures many different, has many different setups. Blending them all together makes something that's only going to work in a very, very specific environment, which is not going to be present 90% of the time.
Like Crazy Ivan, whenever it works, but...
Crazy Ivan is great in a rising volatility environment off a low base, and there's only 2 times per day that you can reliably do that, and that's on like 5 and 10 minute charts at the start of the NYSE Open and the European Open. Aside from that, it's a negative edge. It's like it's an edge in a rising volatility market because it's so hyper optimized for a rising volatility state. It's inherently fragile. So what you've built is something that is not inherently fragile, something that's just going to work and keep working. And the way that you built a robust system as opposed to a fragile system, and there's a place for fragile systems. The way you built a robust system is by picking one entry technique, one market type you're optimizing. You're not trying to catch trends and mean reversion and this and that and low and high volatility. You've got your game and you're an expert in that game.
and stick with your knitting, because like you can tweak this and do this and add this bell, and if I've done that, there's always a better trade, you know. As long as you're collecting your 1 or 2 hour a day quite consistently, happy days, you know.
Happy days. And the successful traders that I know, they all have this sort of quality about them that, you know, the work is done. I've got my system. You know, I show you my other systems. You're like, yeah, that's interesting enough, but you're not really that interested. You know, I can tell who's going to make it because they have that sort of, yeah, it's okay, I guess. I got my own shit.
Yeah, actually, funny you say that, Scott, because like, yeah, that's very true. Like, I'm still looking at stuff on the web chat with you every now and then, etc., etc., etc. But I don't really want to pursue it all that much, because
it's a professional curiosity, nothing more, right?
Yeah,
it's not.
That's right. Yeah. And look, hey, I probably will learn something at some stage, and that'll be the next incarnation. But right now, no, that's okay. I've got other things to do.
Boy, so happy with the result you've got. I'm so happy with the system you build. Yeah, I'm ecstatic to become friends with you over the process, and yeah, yeah. Thanks for your time, Richard. I really appreciate it.
Bit of a shameless plug for Scott. Guys, if you haven't taken Scott's masterclass, do so. Don't know what he's charging for it these days. It's worth its weight in gold plus more. Just sign up and get involved.
Thank you so much, man. Take care, Richard.
Speak soon, mate.
Bye
Cheers.
bye.